Hey guys, Dislodged here. I just wanted to go over a few things that I've learned through playing Rome Total War 2, or Rome 2 Total War, or however you call it. You can mix it up any way you want, I guess. Um, Basically, it actually took me quite a while. I say a while. I was off for a day, and so I just played this all day pretty much. But here's some of the things that I learned so far. I'm still kind of new to it, but as you can see, I've beat the Carthaginians, playing Rome, the Junia faction or Junia house, and taking over Carthage. You can see from the map down there is just a lot of this coastline on Africa. Um, is I'm gonna go over some do's and some don'ts because this is what happens when you start doing some of those don'ts that I might talk about, and that is going to end up having three different barbarian factions invading Italy, and you don't want that happening. What's going to happen is probably I'm just going to quit this game because I could probably make a comeback in Africa and take all this over and eventually maybe come back and take this back if they're not powerful enough and don't invade Sicily and Africa after they take hold of Italy, which they will end up doing. But let's go over some I guess some of the don'ts at first. Diplomacy is really important in this game. I found out, and I mean, you have diplomacy in all the Total War games, but this one I really like it. And this one is much more. The AI is much better at diplomacy in this one, and gives you much more reason to pay attention to it. What I did was after I beat out the Carthaginians in Africa, and so they're still there, but I made peace with them after I beat the crap out of them and took their land. But after that, I had a good economy going and everything. But well, I had a good economy and everything. Everything was growing, everything was building, and have a bunch of armies standing. But and that was all right. I didn't pay for that, although I did have some defense set up, but everything was good. I was getting a good you know, uh, pretty much a good bank account set up. Everything was my money was building up in case for when I needed it. I had all of this land right here, these settlements, and I was at war with no one, so everything was I was building up my infrastructure. What I had also done, which is another do that you should do, is I had formed alliances. I had conquered the Etruscan League, and I didn't take over their land. Instead, I made them a client state. At the time, Carthage was right here, and if I had taken this, Carthage would have I would have been at odds with Carthage because these provinces are connected, like this was right here. And so I didn't want to go to war with Carthage. I wanted to because they were a very powerful nation at the time. So I made this client state. I also worked on uh, keep, I guess, keeping people happy over here without having to take Sicily over again. So I did not go to war, so I wouldn't have to go to war with Carthage. Um, let's see. So what happened was the Etruscans actually, when I did go to war with Carthage, eventually I think it's almost inevitable that it's going to happen. But they declared war eventually after relations deteriorated over one thing or another. But I was able to focus on Sicily while the Etruscan League took over this, and after all this was taken, I was able to go in and take Carthage pretty easily. It was almost no trouble at all. I also conquered Sparta and made them a client state. And let's see, these guys asked for an alliance eventually, and these guys declared war on me, so I conquered them, and they declared them a client state. so I didn't have to mess with any of this stuff over here. Pretty much conquer Sparta, so just have another ally, and it was easy pickings. Also, I found out, this is when I learned that you can recruit troops. If you send a general over here, you can recruit some Spartan hoplites. So that's always fun to do. Uh, I'll get back to the don'ts in a minute, but another do is improve relations. Again, diplomacy, very important. I found out that Macedon was pretty much on the rise of becoming a pretty big empire. And I found that out whenever I conquered Carthage and found them over in, uh, you know, they had conquered Egypt without me knowing at all. And they're all over here, like, but what I did was I did not want to war with them at all, so where are they? So I made good relations with them. They actually eventually made a defensive alliance with me, which I was surprised with. But that's good, so I don't have to worry about them. Um, so anyway, that took down the number of enemies that I would have when I have all these friends, and it's very good. It's very helpful whenever you have all these allies you can call upon, and they actually go and help you. It's pretty good. I had these guys, Spartans and Knossos would actually send a couple armies, and they fought in Africa. They fought battles that I didn't even have to be in, and protected my claims. Like, these guys. Who are they? Dalmati? Yeah. I have no idea what they're doing down there. But they've been walking all through Italy and doing all kinds of stuff. Back to the don't. Um, I decided the relations were deteriorating with the Masilla. Verney, these are Verney. But with the Masilla over here, controlled this. And they seemed untrustworthy and everything. Oh, they constantly had armies at my border. They would just stand there and taunt me, I guess. But I figured things were about to go down, so I struck first, took their capital. What I did not do, which was very stupid of me, I did not check who their allies were. And this was my biggest mistake of the game. Everything had gone great. Best I've ever done until I did this. Didn't check their allies. The Averni were allied with them and declared war on me as well. And eventually the Raiti, however you say that. But eventually they all declared war on me, except for the Nori. They were the only which were taken over eventually too, but they weren't much help at all. But what I should have done was check their allies, and even then, when I saw their allies, I should have scouted out the area with spies and stuff to figure out just how much the Averni controlled, which was quite a bit. And I had no idea this was going to happen. And so they fucked up Italy. It just all crumbled down. I mean, I had no idea I was going to have this so much trouble. What I'm going to try, I'll probably play this again, do this next. But what I'm going to end up doing is making alliances with, maybe some of these guys back here, just other barbarian tribes. This looks to be controlled by a pretty big faction, so I would probably hope to improve relations with them. And then when war does happen, the Averni, or whoever I'm fighting next, they'll be on a two-front war, and so I'll only have to deal with a certain half with what I want. I will be doing the same thing against Carthage because that worked pretty well. But basically, do more planning, do more scouting, do more diplomacy. Which this is another reason I really like this game, was because of the diplomacy. It's very, for the most part, it's very well done. There are certain things I wish that you could do, like fly when I go to war, it calls all my allies to ask if they want war as well, and that's fine. What I don't like is I may declare peace later, but all my allies will still be at war, and it doesn't give me the option. Let's see, where Trustingly, it doesn't give me the option.
Welcome, worthy
You know, I can tell
friend.
them to break trade
Let
agreements
us break bread
and
and drink
defensive
ale before
alliances and all
words
that,
pass our
but I
lips.
can't tell them to stop a war with Carthage, which I stopped a while back. But these guys, Trustingly, Sparta, Almaty, Knossos, they're all at war with Carthage right now, and I ended that a long time ago. And I don't. I just wish they would have that in there. Uh, yeah, I guess that's about it. Probably miss something, but yeah, just dues are, once war's ended, or do your best to end the war after you get what you want. So you're not harassing in the war. Trade if you can. Trade when you can. Build up your infrastructure. Don't, or do build diplomacy with, especially larger factions. Uh, there's a faction out there like Macedon right now. Be nice to them. Try and build up relations, and uh, pick on the little guys pretty much. Which in this case was, I thought it was a little guy, but turned out not to be. Check their dues. Also check alliances. Definitely scout. Check their territory. Don't. As far as don't, it's pretty much just the opposite of what I said. Don't attack without knowing what you're doing, which is what I did. Don't don't attack unknown areas, which is what you don't scout out. What don't attack people who you don't know are allied with or are allied with who, you know. If that is making any sense. Anyway, I'll probably, like I said, I could probably fix this eventually and continue taking over Africa, but these guys may hunt me down. I don't know. They might not be happy with just taking over this area, but it'd be just way too much work. So, thanks for watching, listening, whatever you're doing, and you can subscribe and go back to whatever you were doing. Thank you.